Lyney, we're gonna go ahead and hang out with you today. Now, you remind me a lot of like David Blaine, okay? You did some pretty magical stuff during the Archon quest, but I'm excited to learn more about you. I know you're part of the House of the Hearth. I wanna learn more about your past because it's so interesting to me. So let's go hang out with Lyney. The Forgotten Thief, the Phantom Thief's reappearance. That's like Persona 5. We're a Phantom Thief. The bustling streets of the Court of Fontaine seem more lively than usual. Why not take a walk around? All right, let's go see what Lyney's up to. It's Charlotte. I love her.
That this warning letter was sent by the Phantom Weasel?
Phantom Weasel. Oh my God.
Absolutely. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The Phantom Weasel never acts as you expect. He must have faked his own death 10 years ago using a body double.
Who is this Phantom Weasel?
Now that he's back, I'm sure the guards who worked on his case back in the day are in for a headache, but however this turns out in the end, the one thing it won't be is boring.
Couldn't agree more. As a journalist, I'm gonna get a lot of mileage out of this one.
Phantom Weasel.
Thank you, sir, for your time. Now, whom should I interview next? Huh? Hey, what a coincidence. Fancy meeting you here.
You're gonna interview us? We're down for an interview, Charlotte. How have you been? It's so good to see you. I love her so much.
Perfect timing. So, the Phantom Weasel's latest warning letter. What are your thoughts?
Phantom Weasel. That's my thought.
Yeah, this is the first time we're hearing of this one. Could you clue us in?
Is it like a famous criminal?
Huh? Oh, sorry. Yes, this case is from a decade ago. I guess you wouldn't know about it.
No, tell me.
Well, not to worry. You're in good hands because I'm a professional. The story goes like this. 10 or so years ago, a phantom thief became active in the Court of Fontaine. Known only as the Weasel. Nobody knew his true identity, and the authorities never managed to catch him.
This is like Persona 5. The Phantom Thieves are back. I mean, we know I love Persona 5. Persona 5 Royal is my favorite game of all time. Like, seriously, I play it so much. And you know, you got Fox, right? You got Panther, you got Mona, you got Joker. And I guess the Phantom Thief showed up in Fontaine, called himself Weasel. That's, I don't know why it's reminding me of that, but it is.
Wow, cool! He sounds like one of those mysterious night burglars that you read about in novels.
Right, Paimon?
Precisely. Well, except the part where they actually have a good reputation. Our Weasel targeted whatever people held dear, and no one was safe from his predations.
All right, so this Weasel was like a burglar,
He would just
stealing
as soon
things
steal
in the
a
night.
necklace from a rich merchant's safe as he would a toy doll given to a commoner child for their birthday.
Okay, sounds like an absolute weirdo.
I know. The phantom thieves you read about in novels rob the rich to pay the poor, but this guy did not discriminate. Unsurprisingly, this didn't work wonders for his public reputation. Every man and his dog wanted to see him behind bars.
Oh man, this is gonna make me want to play Persona 5 Royal so bad when she keeps saying Phantom Thieves.
Yeesh. So, did they catch him?
Not exactly. There's a good chance that the Weasel would still be at large to this day if it hadn't been for an accident 10 years ago.
An accident?
A magician named Caesar fell to his death in a botched high-altitude escape performance.
Man!
When the police went through his personal effects, they found a hoard of stolen loot and gadgets used for criminal activities. And that was how the Phantom Weasel's identity was revealed to all.
Let me tell you right now, I think Genshin's story has gotten darker and darker over time. I mean, now you got somebody that's robbing people in the middle of the night, and then she's talking about how some magician was doing some higher and fell to his death. You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely like turned a corner a bit, Genshin has.
Sure enough, thefts in Fontaine went down after Caesar's death. But today, 10 years on, the notorious thief has once again issued one of his warning letters and pasted it on the gate of the Opera Epiclese for all to see.
Maybe it's a copycat.
I had to squeeze through the crowd this morning to get a photo as soon as I heard. Here, it's this one.
Okay, show us. What's it saying? Ooh, I can't read that language. I'd have no idea what that says.
So, this is the warning letter, huh? Let's see what he wrote. 3 days from now, when evening falls, I shall take from you that which you hold most dear at the Opera House. Just as you did to me 10 years ago.
What are you gonna take?
This is, without a doubt, a clear declaration of criminal intent. After years of laying low, the Phantom Weasel is back with a vengeance. What once seemed like an open and shut case has been blown wide open again.
She's so
But why
excited.
has he reemerged now? And what does he want? I sense an epic scoop. and I'm going for it.
I love Charlotte's excitement for things.
Uh-oh. If this thief will steal anything that other people value, does that mean even we might be targeted?
He might steal all of your favorite snacks. He might try to nab you, little Paimon. He might try to kidnap you.
But Paimon doesn't want to get kidnapped. Well, he'd have to go through you first. You would stop him, right?
Sure. Yeah. Sure thing, Paimon. Mm-hmm.
Okay, the people have spoken. It's clear that the public are very concerned about the Phantom Weasel's reappearance.
Fingers crossed on that one.
Let's see, I've got a photo of the letter, my interview notes. Yep.
Hey, Lyney!
The skeleton of my article. It does feel like something is missing, though.
Look at good old Lyney. He's so excited. Look at this kid. He's just, yay, I want more magic. Yay, give me more magic. I want to see things disappear.
Something exclusive.
Oh, what is happening?
Who should I interview next? I need someone with a more concrete connection to the weasel. Is that who I think it is?
Yes, it's Lyney. It's Lyney doing magic like David Blaine. Street magic.
Lyney!
What's up? Looks like he's performing some magic.
Magic. Magician. Caesar. The Phantom Weasel. That's it. Let's go interview Lyney.
Let's go. I'm on the way. Let's go have a chat.
You see, the original Phantom Thief Caesar was a magician too. And what do Phantom Thieves and magicians have in common? They both have an air of mystery about them. Perhaps there's a connection there.
Maybe he can give us more info.
Are you serious? What sort of a deduction is that?
Oh, relax. My journalistic instinct tells me that an exclusive news story is beckoning. Let's go. No time for delay.
All right, let's go see what Lyney has to say. Look at this kid. Now you got him all disappointed. Everybody's leaving and he's just like, I just want more magic. The Forgotten Thief. Oh, this is going to be good. I'm going to enjoy this, I think, because I love that kind of Law and Order kind of stuff.
Wow, Mr. Magician. How did you know which card I picked?
It's marked. He cheated. He peeked.
Oh, it's simple. Come closer and I'll let you in on my secret. Magicians have a special skill called telepathy, which means we can read other people's minds.
Lenny's lying.
Really? Then, what am I thinking now?
Oh, good question, kid. You're thinking about going home.
Well, first you need to relax, because I can see that you're clenching your fist in your mind, as if to say, no, I mustn't let him guess it.
Aww.
Poor
And
kid.
now you're getting a little flustered. You're trying to find a way to empty your mind, to think of nothing at all. But the more you try to hide a secret, the easier it'll come out.
True.
You snuck out from home today, didn't you? You told your family a little lie so you could come out and play. Now, that's not a good habit.
You can tell? Oh boy, you really can read my mind.
No, he's just observational. That's all.
Of course. Oh, and that's the end of my performance. You should really be heading home. Remember to apologize to your family, all right? They must be worried about you.
All right, got it. Bye, Mr. Magician.
Maybe he wants to be an aspiring magician. You know what I mean? See you, kid. Hope you had a good time. Was entertained. I love Lyney's outfit so much. It's so good.
Hey, Lyney?
Why, hello. We meet again. Are you looking for me? What's the
Yes.
situation?
Do you know anything about the Phantom Weasel? He's a phantom thief.
Well, why don't you guess, Mr. Telepathic?
Oh, please. You didn't believe that spiel, did you? The power of telepathy is quite beyond me.
Let's say Paimon calling Lyney out.
I'm sure that child would beg to differ. Seemed like you were right on the money.
That was nothing more than a little trickery. I made an educated guess based on his micro-expressions.
See? Observational.
That, plus the fact that he was the only kid here without his parents, and he looked as guilty as sin. He made it easy for me. You guys, on the other hand, let me guess. Don't tell me you're here for the Phantom Weasel, are you?
How did you know?
Wow, got it in one.
Right, Paimon?
Is this more of your trickery at work?
Maybe he's the Phantom Weasel.
Wait, really? No trickery this time. It was pure luck.
Dude, I love his outfit. Let me tell you right now, I think the outfits in Genshin Impact have gotten so much better as the patches have gone on, just simply because of the details, the tiniest details in these outfits are just freaking incredible. Like this little thing, this little cat smiling with his, baring his teeth, and like the little ruffles in his shirt that you can see right here. It's just the smallest little things, like the laces on his corset right here with the little holes, and it's showing you where the laces are going in. It's such a good little detail. The little loops right here with his laces and stuff like that. The tiniest little thing. They're so good.
His warning letter's been the talk of the town, so I figured that maybe you were asking around about that.
Yeah.
Bingo!
What do you know?
I plan on writing a column reporting on the latest news about the Phantom Weasel. So, Lyney, what are your thoughts on this infamous thief's reappearance?
To be honest, it makes me angry.
Ooh, why?
Angry? Why?
Yeah.
You read his letter, right? The Phantom Weasel claims he's planning something in 3 nights' time at the Opera House.
Okay.
That's the night I'll be performing there.
Is he gonna try to murder Lyney? He's gonna try to murder Lyney.
What are the chances? Wait a minute, you don't think he's after you, do you?
That's what I immediately thought, Paimon.
Well, if he is, then his warning is clearly a direct challenge to me personally.
Ooh, 1v1 magician versus magician. How would that fight even work?
And if he's not, then it's still going to be a huge headache for me. The mere mention of the Weasel's name is enough to scare people off. So once the contents of that letter get out, barely anyone will be showing up to watch my show. But I've been preparing for this for a long time. I'm not about to let him ruin my big day. This leaves me with only one choice. I have to expose the Phantom Weasel's identity before the show begins.
All right, so we got 3 days.
Really? So what you're saying is, we might get to see a live duel between a famous magician and an infamous thief? Wow, this has exclusive written all over it.
Cage match.
To be honest, I'm not sure if I'll emerge the victor. The Phantom Weasel is a notorious crook, infamous for his inscrutable methods.
You're being far too modest, Lyney. I think your magic tricks are even more inscrutable than those of a thief.
Thanks for the compliment, though I have to say, I don't care much for the comparison.
Ooh.
A lot of people liken magicians to thieves because we both have the ability to make things disappear without the person noticing. But there's an important difference that these people overlook. Allow me to demonstrate with a quick magic trick. Here, I have a flower. Just
Is it gonna squirt her in the
flower
face?
that was picked not long ago. Watch it carefully now. 3, 2, 1.
And poof, just like that, it's gone. Just vanished in midair. Look at Traveler Paimon's face. Ooh, where did it go, Lyney?
It's gone!
Where did it go?
That's the question. Where did it go?
It's in your sleeves.
Therein lies the difference between us.
Under your hat.
Thieves make precious things disappear, but only magicians make them reappear.
Where'd it go? You made it reappear? Where?
If I could now invite you all to check your clothes, there might be a surprise in there somewhere.
Check my clothes. Charlotte, you got it on you?
Let me see!
You got it on you, Charlotte? Where is it? Is it on? Wait, did that just appear out of nowhere? I wasn't even looking. Seriously, I did not see that until just now, until I looked over and saw the that he said. Wait, what? Did that literally just pop? What happened? Huh? Where did that come from?
It's right there! But how? You haven't moved this whole time!
Paimon, I don't know.
What an outstanding trick! Sorry, Lyney, it seems that my previous praise was woefully inadequate. Clearly, magic is the superior art form to theft.
Where'd the flower come from?
Don't worry.
How did you do
I didn't
that?
take offense.
Tell me
I
your
just wanted
secrets.
to take the opportunity to perhaps change some of the preconceived notions you might have about magicians.
How did you do it? Tell me your secret.
Since Caesar's death, a lot of people associate magicians with criminality. It can be quite frustrating.
I can imagine. Coming back to your trick just now, might I presume that you are well versed in floral symbolism?
What?
For example, magicians often use rainbow roses in their flower-related performances to represent passion and romantic encounters. But you used a Lumidu spell, which, if I'm not mistaken, allude to separations.
How do you know this,
I'm
Charlotte?
curious to know if there was any deeper meaning behind this choice.
How do you know this?
Impressive knowledge. It's no wonder you're such a successful journalist. But I'm afraid I don't know the first thing about floral symbolism.
Yeah.
I'm just in the habit of using Lumidu spells in my magic. It sounds like something I should look into, though. I'll buy myself a copy of Fontaine's Floral Language Facts when I have some time, but it'll have to wait until this Phantom Weasel business is behind us.
Well noted. In that case, this brings us to the end of our interview. I, for one, am looking forward to the final showdown between you and the thief.
Me too. We need to have a magic competition.
Please feel free to get in touch to update me on any further developments. Otherwise, I will of course see you at your show in 3 days' time, but let's hope the Phantom Weasel is caught by then. If there's nothing else, I'll be off. You've given me lots to work with here, and I've got no time to lose if I want to write that exclusive piece. I'll see you all later.
Bye, Charlotte. It's always good to see you. I adore Charlotte so much. She's just so much fun and so peppy. Bye, Charlotte. You look amazing like always. Here we are, just standing there with the flower.
Lyney, are you gonna tell us how you did that flower trick now?
Yes. Did he like do some kind of like, what's the misdirection?
I'm afraid that's my little secret.
Tell us.
Aww. Well, magicians are entitled to their secrets. But Paimon's really itching to know how it's done. You feel it too, right? So itchy.
Yeah, I'm really itchy there, Paimon. Yep, the Phantom Weasel. You sure you'll be able to handle him?
Not so itchy then, huh?
No. It was fun.
Well, since you're so concerned, how would you like to serve as my temporary magician's assistant?
Wait,
and
where's-
help me investigate?
Wait, what about Lynette? Where is she at? What happened to her?
Magician's assistants? Oh, that sounds fun. Assistants are technically magicians too.
They are.
Also, it'll bring us one step closer to figuring out how that darn trick is done. Shall we go for it?
God, Paimon. We'll help you with your investigation. What's your plan?
First thing we need to look into is who Caesar really was.
Hey, who was
If
he?
he truly was the Phantom Weasel, that means that the Weasel is dead, and whoever wrote this warning letter is just a copycat criminal.
See, that was my immediate thought. It's just copycat.
But if he wasn't the Weasel? Well, that'll make things more interesting. It would mean that the Weasel lives, and he's been laying low all this time in some corner of Fontaine. And if we're investigating Caesar, his fiancée Gemma is a good place to start. Word is that she visits the cemetery often, so I asked Lynette to wait for her there. We should make a move. Let's go and rendezvous with Lynette.
Let's go see her. I love Lynette. Lynette, hi. I love you and adore you. I want to learn more about Lynette and her past and what happened with her. Man, it took a turn during that Archon quest about their history and House of the Hearth and all of that.
Sorry, I bumped into the Traveler and Charlotte en route, and we ended up chatting for a while.
It's been a while, Lynette.
Yeah, how have you been?
We're working as Lyney's temporary assistants in the investigation of the Phantom Weasel.
Do you know anything?
Thank you. It's good to have you helping.
She's so pretty.
So, what's the situation? Have you seen Gemma?
Nope. I've been here a while, and she still hasn't shown up.
How bizarre. Maybe it was bad intel. Well, we won't get anywhere by standing around waiting. Traveler, Paimon, let's go ask around.
Okay, let's go look for Gemma.
Excuse me, good sir. Do you by any chance know a Gemma?
Do you?
Gemma?
Yes.
You mean Caesar's fiance? Sure I do. What's this about?
Oh, what if Gemma is the...
I'm just trying to get a hold of her
Phantom
because
Weasel.
I need her help with something. I heard she comes here a lot.
She's mad.
Yeah, she does. Poor thing. It's no secret why either. She's heartsick.
Okay, what if she's mad about like she blames magic for Caesar's death, right? Like, what if that's her deal? And she's pissed off that another magician like Lyney and Lynette are in Fontaine doing magic, and magic just makes her mad. She's like, you're nothing but a bunch of liars because all you do is trick people. Magic isn't real because my fiance died because he was trying to do magic and blah, blah, blah. And she's just pissed off.
Ever since Caesar passed away, she's been coming here once every week to clean his grave. Often, she just sits there in front of his headstone, lost in thought. Sometimes she talks to herself. I asked her what she was doing once. She said she wanted to speak to him again. She knows
That's
he's
so sad.
gone and can't hear her from the grave, but she just likes to spend time there, telling her fiancé all about how her life is going.
And she's been doing this ever since Caesar passed away? Oh, so 10 years. Wow. Their love must have been really strong.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I'll bet. Caesar's reputation fell apart after his identity was revealed, so no one else visits his grave. Gemma's the only one who still thinks about him after all these years. I don't know if the mind lives on in the waters after death, but if it does, I'm sure Caesar must be grateful to have someone who remembers him fondly.
I hope people remember me fondly when I'm gone, like way down the line.
If I'm honest, I think this is all so unfair to poor Gemma. Her fiancé was a low-life crook. He doesn't deserve someone like her. Anyway, all of that said, she's running later than usual today. Normally, she'd be sitting in front of his grave by now. I wonder if she's okay. Well, that's everything I know, I'm afraid. You might have more luck asking some other people.
All right, well, thanks for sharing all of this with us. We'll keep asking around.
You're welcome. I just hope she'll be able to move on one day.
Well, it's been 10 years, so
Did you hear the news? They're saying the Phantom Weasel's back.
You're kidding. Wait, isn't he dead?
apparently not.
I don't know anymore. All sorts of news flying around nowadays. I can never tell what's true and what isn't.
I think it's Gemma. I'm pretty sure it's Gemma.
But what if, just hypothetically, I mean, what if this weasel's the real deal and Caesar was framed?
Called it. Seriously, 10 years ago, on the day it all went down, I said to myself, you know what? This guy's been set up. The Caesar I knew was a good guy. He gave balloons to children on the street, for Pete's sake. What, are we supposed to believe that he was a balloon thief or something? Give me a break.
I think it might be his fiance Gemma is like just mad.
Oh, please. Weren't you the one cursing his name to high heaven when the police announced the news? You were all, oh, that gosh darn lousy son of a, you think you know a guy, or words to that effect.
Wait, did I say that? I don't seem to recall.
What do you guys know? Sorry to interrupt.
Hello
You're
there.
gossiping here.
Sorry for disturbing you, but I couldn't help but notice you were discussing the Phantom Weasel. We're actually quite interested in this topic as well, but we're struggling to get to the bottom of it. Do you think you could spare a moment to tell us a little bit about Caesar?
Yeah, what can you tell us?
You've come to the right people. Yep, I was there. Back when Caesar used to perform magic tricks on the street. He was a great magician. The best trick I ever saw him do was pop a transparent balloon, only for a whole bunch of doves to fly out from the inside.
Ooh, that's cool. She almost did say son of a bitch. That son of a bitch.
I was right up close and didn't blink or look away once. But for the life of me, I still don't have the faintest clue how he pulled it off. Really incredible stuff.
I saw him perform too. He always used to bring some gifts along for the kids who came to watch his show, and he'd hand them out after he was done. Sometimes he even got the kids to write their wishes down, and then he'd make the items on the wish list appear in his next show.
Well, what if Gemma is jealous of Lyney? Like, what if she blames like Lyney for not just for like she's not mad at magic, she's mad at Lyney's, right? So Lyney is the famous magician now in Fontaine when Caesar used to be the famous magician, and now that Lyney's been in the spotlight, she's like, everybody's forgetting about my fiance Caesar, and I'm gonna make everybody forget about Lyney. She's gonna try to murder him. I think that might be the case.
He doesn't sound like such a bad guy.
But after he died, there were also rumors that he used the wish list to find out what was precious to people, with the intent to steal it later.
Ooh,
As I'm
sneaky.
sure you know, the Phantom Weasel would steal just about anything from anyone.
Whatever the case, now that the Weasel is back, Caesar's become a hot topic once more. I bet Gemma must be pleased. If Caesar's name gets cleared, maybe it'll finally give her some solace after all this time. No, speak of the devil. That's her over there. If you've got any more questions about Caesar, she's
Gemma?
definitely the one to ask.
We need to have a chat. Gemma, how do you feel?
So that's Gemma. Is it just Paimon? Or
She looks
does it
so
look like
sad.
something's wrong.
She looks so sad. She looks so sad.
Wait. It looks like she's injured.
Injured?
Come on, let's see if she's okay.
What did she do? Need to call up Siegewing.
Hi there. You're Gemma, right?
Hi, Gemma. Look how sad she looks. She looks so sad and
Who's
depressed.
asking?
Me.
Don't be afraid. We mean no harm. It looks like you're injured. How bad is it?
How did it happen? Did you cut your hand on glass trying to break into somebody's house?
Thanks for your concern, but you didn't answer my question. Who are you, and what do you want with me?
My name is Lyney, and this is my sister Lynette.
My name's Paimon, and this here's the Traveler. We're investigating the Phantom Weasel.
The Weasel posted a warning letter this morning. If he still lives, that means that Caesar was falsely accused. You knew Caesar better than anyone else. So if you're willing, we'd love to hear what you think about all this.
I don't think she's going to say anything.
I promise you can trust us. We won't hurt you. In fact, we'll do all we can to keep you safe.
I never believed that he was the Weasel.
Huh. I suspected as much. Okay, so going back 10 years, do you remember anything strange in the weeks leading up to the accident? Did Caesar have a falling out with anyone, for instance?
Look, if I was surrounded by 4 people trying to ask me pretty, important personal things, I'd feel a little, overwhelmed. You know what I mean? I wouldn't feel comfortable, with this at all.
No, not that I know of.
Got it. All right. Sorry for disturbing you.
If you don't have any more questions, please leave. I want to be alone with him.
Okay, no problem. We can go. Thank you for not answering, basically anything. Telling us anything.
Judging by the look on her face, there's definitely something fishy about her.
She's lying. She definitely knows something.
She probably just doesn't trust us.
That's fair. We're just a bunch of strangers who showed up and started questioning her about things that happened a whole decade ago. It makes sense that she'd be wary around us. In any case, I doubt we'll get any further here, so let's call it a day. Meet me outside Hotel de Boer tomorrow, and then we'll start the next step of our plan.
All right, let's do it. See you at the hotel.
Over here.
See, I have a feeling this is one of those story quests that doesn't say anything about Lyney's past. And that's what I want to learn. Do you know what I mean? I want to learn about these characters' past. Where do they come from? Why they are the way that they are? Who's influenced them? What happened to them when they were a kid and as they were growing up? That's what I want to learn in these story quests. I just don't want some random story thrown together for a character that doesn't tell you anything about that character. So I'm hoping that this gets into Lyney's past a bit and Lynette's past a bit, so I can just learn more about them. I hope it does, but I have a feeling it's not going to.
Lynette's not joining us today?
I've had her follow Gemma and see if we can make any inroads with her. They should be at a cafe right now.
Also, they're having a cup of coffee.
Still, I don't think that Gemma's likely to open up to us. So, we need a contingency plan.
What do we do?
Today, we'll be looking into a guy named Lorenzo.
Lorenzo.
Caesar's former pupil and assistant.
Okay.
When Caesar passed away, all the stolen goods discovered in his home were confiscated and returned to their rightful owners. But Lorenzo was the only one privy to all his magic secrets, and he inherited his craft. Before long, Lorenzo was the next big magician in town, his fame surpassing even that of his master, and it made him very wealthy. He's since left the magic scene, though, and these days, he's a wealthy businessman with his fingers in a lot of different pies.
Okay, let's go see him.
I had to pull
Lorenzo,
a lot of
another
strings,
magician.
but I managed to get him to agree to a couple of drinks with me. Be warned, though, I hear he's got a hair-triggered temper. We'd best be careful.
That'll be fine.
You neglected to mention that you were bringing 2 other people with you.
Oh, why do you sound so angry? Oh, that's right. You have a short temper. I forgot.
My apologies. These two are my assistants. When they heard that I was meeting with the former Magic Maestro himself, they begged and pleaded with me to bring them along. And if it's no trouble, a couple of autographs would really make their day.
He's gonna be like, no paparazzi, no autographs, no.
Oh, forget the pleasantries, just sit.
Man, what's your deal? I guess he didn't have a cup of coffee this morning, right? Because that's probably how I would act if I don't have my coffee in the morning.
Forget the pleasantries, he says, but he looks pretty happy about Lyney stroking his ego.
I only agreed to meet since we're both magicians. Do me a favor and cut to the chase. I have more important things to do than drinking.
I don't know about that.
Much obliged, sir. As it happens, the matter I want to address is also related to magic. Yesterday morning, a warning letter from the Phantom Weasel appeared on the entrance to the Opera House. He claims to be planning something for the same evening that I'm scheduled to do a magic show there. As such, I believe that I may well be his target.
Was it you? Did you do it?
I have to get to the bottom of this to ensure that my show can go ahead as planned. Naturally, any investigation into the Weasel starts with a few questions about Caesar, who...
What is there to investigate?
Lots of things.
Caesar was the Weasel, and he's been dead for 10 years. So what if some sick creep thought it'd be funny to write a warning letter? It changes nothing. Are you trying to tell me you actually bought it?
What is your deal, dude? Like, seriously, do you need a beer?
Please, sir, no need to get so worked up. I do concede that a copycat is but one possibility.
Possibility? It's a fact, Lyney. Look, my patience is limited, so listen carefully while I'm still willing to put up with you.
Somebody punch this dude in the throat.
The Weasel is dead. Period. Everyone knows that, so do yourself
What if you killed him?
and quit this investigation. It'll lead you nowhere.
What if you killed him?
If this affects your magic show in any way, I will personally compensate you for any losses.
Oh, sir, I'm honored, really. But this isn't about finances for me. My pride as a magician is what's at stake here, Lorenzo. Copycat or not, this person has thrown me the gauntlet, and I must meet their challenge head on.
And you're telling him, forget about it, it's fine, he's dead, blah, 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 blah. Maybe you killed him. Maybe you rigged his magic show when he was doing his little high wire act and made him fall to his death. Maybe it was you.
Your pride? Don't mince words with me, boy. Just tell me, what exactly are you seeking to do?
Get to the bottom of this.
I want to find out the Phantom Weasel's true identity. I have to know for myself what really happened 10 years ago.
Lorenzo did it.
What would that accomplish? And what do the events of 10 years ago have to do with you anyway? Look, you of all people should know that a magician never reveals their secrets. And in any case, dead men don't talk. So if you really care about your magician's pride, then you'll forget about Caesar and move on.
I do like his voice, but I think you killed Caesar. You're basically telling Lyney to forget about it. Like, don't look into it. Don't do this and don't do that. I think it might have been you, bro. I think you're hiding something. Lyney, what do you think?
Uh-oh, this is getting awkward.
Punch him in the throat, Lyney. Make him disappear.
Lorenzo? Is that? Oh, it is you! I know that big, booming voice anywhere. What's up, my man? Want to grab a drink with me?
Another day, I'm busy.
Oh, come on. You can't be all business all the time.
This is good.
Live fast, die young. You gotta learn how to kick back and relax once in a while.
Isn't it like 8 o'clock in the morning or something like that? Isn't it like 8, 9 o'clock in the morning? Like, remember we had to fast forward and meet like Lyney at 8 in the morning in front of the hotel? Dude, how long have you been drinking? You just haven't gone to bed maybe?
If I wanted your life advice, I'd ask for it. Now get out of my face and go be drunk somewhere else.
Sorry, my good sir. I don't believe I've had the pleasure.
Yeah, what's your name? How are you?
Oh, hey. Edmondo.
Edmondo.
He and I are business pals. We worked together a bunch of times. This is your first time meeting him? Oh, he's always like this. Foul-mouthed and hard-nosed. Never heard a kind word out of this guy the whole time I've known him. And he wonders why he can't get a girlfriend despite being, what, pushing 40, 30, something? Anyway, point is, a lot older than when he first got rejected by the girl he was into. And he's still into, from what I hear.
Ooh, what if he's into Gemma? What if he likes Gemma, but she won't get over Caesar? What if that's the case? What if that's why he killed what's his face? What if that's why he killed Caesar to get to Gemma, but now Gemma's like been like mourning him for 10 years and stuff like that?
Shut up and get out of my face. Another word out of you and you can forget about doing business with me ever again. Do I make myself clear?
I do like this guy's voice though. It's a good one. Sorry, Edmondo. You pissed him off.
Sorry, I may have had a little too much to drink. All right. I'm gonna leave. Don't work too hard.
Yeah, go take a nap. Sober yourself up there, bro. Take a cold shower. You'll be all right.
I think it's high time I made a move as well. If you really want to investigate this, Lyney, be my guest.
All right, he's sus. He's sus AF.
But if nothing good comes of it, don't say I didn't warn you.
Gemma's sus because she hurt, didn't tell us why. Something's going on.
That fell to pieces in a rather spectacular fashion. Any thoughts?
There's something strange about him. Yeah, he was telling you not to do things and then, yeah.
And what was all that about compensating you for your losses? Why would someone you just met make an offer like that?
So he didn't look, so he wouldn't look into it, Paimon.
He's gotta be hiding something. And not like Gemma. She was a little suspicious, but this guy's definitely covering something up.
I agree, Paimon. Detective Paimon's on the case.
I think so too.
Need the glasses
look
back.
into Lorenzo more closely.
We need the Paimon glasses back.
That guy Edmondo seems to know a thing or two about him. He only just left. Let's see if we can catch up with him.
He's drunk. He's going to say whatever. But I do know that usually the truth comes out when people are drunk. I'm not going to lie. Edmondo. Did you puke? Puke and rally? Puke and rally,
okay
Edmondo.
Who are you?
We just met. How do you not remember?
Oh, it's you guys. Don't worry about me. I must have had one too many. I just need to ride it out.
Yeah, puke and rally there, Edmondo. It's okay. I've done that a few times.
I said way too much back there, didn't I? Yeah, I nearly talked myself into complete financial ruin. Note to self, no more drunken chats when Lorenzo's around.
Might be a good idea.
So he was serious about threatening to cut you off? Paimon knew he was a bad egg.
Hey, keep your voice down. Don't go prying into Lorenzo's personal affairs. Bad things happen to people who ask too many questions or make an enemy out of him.
What kind of bad things?
They disappear.
Don't even ask. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to cut this conversation short. I'm not crossing that line again.
Do people disappear?
And take it from me, trouble with Lorenzo is one thing you don't need in your life. There's some flare up back there. I don't know what you said to him, but clearly it touched a nerve. That's not a good sign. You're too young for this. Don't get in over your head. I'm leaving.
Yeah, go take a shower there, bro. You are a hot mess, man. You are a hot mess. So what are we gonna do now? We're gonna like sneak around?
There he goes. What do we do now, Lyney?
Yeah, what are we gonna do now?
Shh. I think we're being watched. Someone was listening in to our whole conversation.
It's the Men in Black. Is it the CIA? The FBI? Oh my God, what is going on?
Don't say anything and don't look back.
Okay.
Any altercation in the city will attract the guards.
Okay.
We'd better take this elsewhere.
Okay, let's go. All right, what's going on over here?
You followed us a long way. Why don't you come out and introduce yourselves?
Yes. Why are you following me?
So you're Lyney. And where's your sister? Ain't she with you today?
You sound like you guys are the Mafia. Smooth face Pacino? No, they did not do that. Do you get this reference? Please tell me you get this movie reference. Okay, I'll explain to you. So Al Pacino is the actor who plays Scarface in the movie Scarface. So he's like the main character in Scarface. So they named him Smooth Face Pacino. It's a Scarface. The movie, I love Scarface. Scarface is one of my favorite movies ever. It's a Scarface reference. Oh my God.
Save us the trouble and go fetch her for us. Let's not drag this out.
That's so good. That's so good.
Paimon doesn't like the tone of your voice, mister. Who sent you, huh?
Ah, that's such a cool little Easter egg that they did there. It makes me wonder if they, I mean, they obviously did it intentionally. It makes me wonder how many players actually caught that.
Save your questions,
Painter
Missy.
De Niro.
You ain't gonna need answers, will you? Capiche?
His name is Painter De Niro. You're jerking my chain, dude. Oh my God. Oh, this is good. You got Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. Oh, that's great.
Looks like we can't avoid this fight.
That's such a good little Easter egg. That's so good. That's one of my favorite ones yet.
Now, I'm not the strongest fighter, so I hope you're ready to back me up.
Don't worry, we got this.
Yeah, bring it on, punks. De Niro and Pacino.
Curses. They're tougher than we thought.
Pacino and De
Vision-wielders are
Niro.
always trouble. Intimidation ain't gonna work like it did on the lady.
I love that.
Come on, let's scram.
Hey, wise guys, we ain't through with you yet.
And Paimon calling them wise guys. Yes. Oh, that's great, man. This is so good. This little Easter egg is such a good little detail. Wise guys.
Oh, they got away. Did you catch what they said just before they left? Something about intimidating someone else.
Yes, they're like the mob, the mafia.
Sounds like they just wanted to rough us up as a scare tactic, and they've already done it to someone else, but who?
Could it be Gemma? Did they go rough up Gemma?
You're right. She was injured when we saw her yesterday, and she acted like she had something to hide.
Maybe they came and saw her.
Maybe she was too scared to tell us the truth because those guys had threatened her.
It's literally like the mob. Oh, it's so
Well,
good.
If that's the case, she should be more willing to open up to us once she learns that those thugs won't be bothering her anymore. Let's head back to the cafe and see if we can get any information from her.
Okay, let's go talk to Gemma. Gemma, what's going on? Lynette looks like she's sad now too. What is going on with you two? Hi. Did 4 guys try to come and beat you up the other day?
You again. What is it this time?
We just ran into the men who've been threatening you, and we gave them a taste of their own medicine.
Yeah.
So, you can relax now. We're here to protect you.
Well, she's gonna be like, hey, how do you know that?
What? Why?
Yeah, see?
I didn't tell you anything. Why would they come after you?
Sounds like they're no strangers to you.
That's putting it mildly. I know them all too well, and I hate them with every fiber of my being. It's been 10 long years, and still every time I try to look into Caesar's death, they show up and warn me not to do anything stupid.
I'm telling you, they did it to cover something up.
How do I know I can trust
Pacino and De Niro.
Do you really think you can get to the bottom of it all?
Yes.
And why are you doing this?
Because now they're after Lyney.
I'm afraid I can't reveal all the details just yet, but I can promise you this. I will expose the Phantom Weasel's true identity. Because you see, this is a personal matter of the utmost importance. I give you my word. Trust me.
Okay. How can I help you?
Tell us everything that you know.
I've heard that Caesar used to have a magic workshop where he kept a lot of his personal effects. If possible, I'd like to take a look at them. Do you know where it is?
The Fleuve Sonde.
Of course she knows.
But the place was sealed up by the police after his death, and no one's been there since.
Well, let's go.
I also know that the Fleuve Sonde is
Hey,
dangerous
Dusty.
territory. Lots of hostile groups lurking around. If you're serious about going there, please be careful.
Ah, Gemma, no worries. Don't even worry.
Understood. Lynette, you stay here and take care of Gemma. Don't let her come to harm.
Got it. But if I'm staying here, I'm ordering dessert.
Get you a piece of cheesecake.
I mean,
Cheesecake sounds really good.
Bon appetit. But stay sharp, too. They're likely to come for you while I'm away.
Okay. All right. Power saving mode off. I'll start taking this more seriously now.
Okay. You got this, Lynette. What's going on over
If
here?
Gemma gave us the right location, then the workshop should be right nearby. Huh. Looks like these boxes are blocking the entrance. Let's shift them away first.
Maybe it's a hidden door? You help Lyney move the box aside. It looks like no one's
There
been
we
here.
go. It should be just down here.
Ooh. All right, what's going on in this magic lab, I guess? Is that what it's called?
That's weird. Have we reached the end already?
I don't think so. There's something hidden in here.
There's nothing here. Maybe this was a wasted trip.
Lyney, what are you looking at, bro?
This place seems a little too ordinary for a magician's workshop. There's a distinct lack of mystery.
Do you not recall all the dolls and weird things that we just saw on the way in here? That's lacking mystery?
We've triggered quite a few devices on the way here.
Yeah.
I'm starting to wonder whether Caesar built this whole place as one big, elaborate magic contraption.
Ooh, like a box.
If so, then there must be more to this place than meets the eye. Maybe a hidden room somewhere. Aha! If I just move this book, then hopefully... And... presto.
How did you know that? How did you figure that out? How did you know?
Secret passageway! How did you know?
See, Paimon's asking the same questions I am. I love it.
I'm a magician too, and apparently great minds really do think alike.
How did you know to move that book?
Looks pretty big inside. Let's head in and take a look around.
Okay, let's go. What is going on in this place? Like, look at all the balloons and
Why have you stopped, Lyney?
weird things.
Is there some device in that box?
Huh. It just looks familiar somehow. Let me check this out for a second while you guys go on ahead.
No, I don't want to do that.
If anyone makes a major discovery, let's rendezvous here.
Okay,
All right, see you in a bit.
let's go.
This book's thick as a brick. Let's take a peek inside it, shall we?
Yeah, what's he got written in here? About the wish list.
At one of my shows a few days ago, a child asked me how I pulled candy out of my hat. As a joke, I told the kid that the hat has a built-in wish-granting machine. Next thing I know, today a whole bunch of kids were pestering me to pull all sorts of things out of the hat. So I told them another white lie. The machine needs time to power up, but in the meantime, you can write your wishes down. Well, they took me up on that offer, enthusiastically. As I write this, I've only just got back from running around all over town, buying the things they wanted. Boy, are my legs sore.
Sounds like Caesar was a pretty good guy.
I wound up saving very little this month, but that's not a major issue. I now have a bigger problem. How am I going to hide all these things inside my hat?
Yeah, what if a kid wanted a bike? How are you gonna shove that in? About the children studying magic.
2 children came to talk to me after today's show. I don't know why they were out on their own. They looked much too young to be unsupervised. I do hope they got home safely. Anyway, they said that they wanted me to teach them how to do magic. It's not uncommon for children to ask this, of course, but
wait,
I've never seen any of them as serious about it as these 2.
Is he talking about Lyney and Lynette?
I told them that learning magic is very hard work, but that didn't faze them at all. It's like they already knew.
Is he talking about like Lyney and Lynette when they were kids?
I couldn't turn them down.
Came and asked him to learn? That's what it sounded like, because he said two kids. About Lorenzo's
Seems
issues.
Like something's bothering Lorenzo lately, but he won't open up to me about it. Surely he's not upset that I agreed to teach those 2 children. I'll have to talk him around. I have a good feeling about those kids. They're naturally talented, and it seems like they're not new to the world of magic. They have all sorts of fantastic ideas. All I'm really doing is helping them develop a more professional standard training plan. They wanted to call me Master, but I told them they absolutely mustn't. Any magician worth their salt could have taught them what I have. They're the geniuses here. Compared to them, I don't deserve to be called any sort of master. With time, I have no doubt that they could become far greater magicians.
He must
than
be
I.
talking about them.
My only concern is why they're so mature for their age. I fear they've had to grow up too fast. I don't dare to imagine what they must have been through.
House of the Hearth, baby.
Gemma thinks so too. She doesn't like being around them. Says that their eyes are too piercing. They don't bother me.
Maybe they're not.
But then again, I've never been the sharpest tool in the shed.
Who are the two people that you're talking about? You don't mention their names? About the farewell.
It's nearly time for me to go on tour. I asked the two kids if they'd like to come with me, but they shook their heads. I once overheard them talking about their father and their mission.
Yes!
Sounds like their parents have other plans for them.
Yes!
I guess we'll be parting ways soon.
So Lyney and Lynette asked Caesar when they were kids to teach them magic. See, this is what I'm talking about. Learned a little about Lyney and Lynette and how they became magicians. And yep, talking about father and their mission. Yep.
It's only been 10 days since I first met them, but I think that I've gotten a feel for their personalities now. They're very tough, but also very cautious, and they trust no one but each other. This, I fear, is not a good habit to have.
Well, my question is, did Lyney mention, I don't think he mentioned earlier in the story about Caesar teaching him magic. Did he? I can't remember if he did or not. Did he?
They hide things from me too. For example, when I asked them where they live and why they wanted to learn magic, they lied. That's the thing about children. Whenever they're trying to cover something up, it always shows somehow. I can sense that their lives have been hard, possibly even dangerous too. They're not like other children. It's a shame that I can't do more to help them.
All right, so this diary is a big deal for Lyney and Lynette, simply because Lyney did not tell us that Caesar taught them magic, right? And basically Caesar is telling you, you cannot trust them. You cannot trust these kids. They're not like other kids. They're hiding things, all that stuff. Bro.
After thinking things over, I decided to tell them a bit about how I see the world. It's full of lies and falsehoods, and that is why we must find our own truth. P.S. I hope they won't find my nagging annoying. Children are so opinionated nowadays. Will it do them more harm than good for someone they've only known 10 days to lecture them like that?
Not what he's saying. That's exactly what he said. He said, they're lying to me. They're hiding something from me. That's what he said. That's basically what he said. And then Lyney didn't even tell us that Caesar taught him in the first place. Like when the whole Caesar thing came about, you would think that would be important information to say, oh, by the way, Caesar taught me magic. But I feel that this is important information that Lyney should have told us. Do you know what I mean? So, and I think Lyney recognized it doesn't make any sense, because if Caesar was like his assistant or whatever was Gemma, right? And basically they were like together. How come Lyney said, oh, I don't recognize Gemma? Or how come he said, or he didn't tell us that Caesar taught him magic or things like that? You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? I feel like this is a bit of information that Lyney should have told us. If we know about the orphanage from Lyney, right? Like we learned about the House of the Hearth and how that all came about with Arlecchino, basically saving Lynette and them. Anyways, my question is, why did Lyney not feel it was important to tell us that Caesar was his teacher? I think there's so many things going on right now. Gemma said she didn't recognize Lyney when we first talked to her, right? At the gravesite. Lyney doesn't recognize Gemma, but Gemma is Caesar's fiance, who Caesar was teaching Lyney and Lynette magic when they were kids. How come Lyney didn't feel it was important enough to tell us or tell anybody that, oh, by the way, Caesar's the person that died 10 years ago is the one that taught us magic.
PPS. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Children aren't interested in grand philosophies. It probably just went in one ear and out the other. I bet they've already forgotten every word I said. Oh, Caesar, Caesar. Just mind your own business next time.
Okay, that's interesting to me. That's interesting to me.
Two magic geniuses with a father and a mission, huh?
Paimon, put it together faster.
Sounds a lot like he was writing about Lyney and Lynette, don't you think?
Yeah?
So did they meet Caesar when they were kids? Let's go ask Lyney.
And how come Lyney didn't tell us? That's what I want to know. Lyney, I have questions.
Shh, hold that thought. As I expected, there's a lot of fishy things going on in this place.
How come it spaced your mind to tell us that this person taught you magic?
Fishy? Uh-oh, what have you found?
All in good time. Before we go over our new leads, I want to tell you how a high-altitude escape is performed. First, the magician slots themselves into a magic box in full view of the audience. The box is then suspended high in the air, and a short while later, the base automatically opens.
Okay.
At this point, a dummy will fall out of the box, but it looks real enough to grab the audience's attention, and they start wailing and screaming. Meanwhile, the real magician, who has by now blended into the crowd, waits for a good moment to make their appearance and put on a hysterical performance.
How did you learn how to do that? Did Caesar teach you?
Oh no! Is that me? Did I just fall to my death?
Very vivid description. Paimon can really picture it. And then what?
The audience's gaze then turns to the magician, and by the time they realize what's happened, the dummy has vanished, as if everything that just happened was some sort of shared illusion. Of course, that's just how I think the process should work, theoretically speaking.
Theoretically speaking, what do you mean?
The inventor of this trick never performed it successfully. When the box opened, Caesar was the one who fell out, and not the dummy. He fell right to the ground from the highest point of the opera house. No one could hope to survive that fall. Not without a vision, at least.
Okay.
And no one else has ever attempted this trick since. My understanding of how it works is just based on what I could gather from his notes and the relevant gadgets here in his workshop.
So Caesar's famous high-altitude escape has never been done, huh? Paimon was about to say how cool it would have been to see it in person, but if it's that dangerous, it's probably for the best that no one else tries to do it. Wait a second. So if a dummy's supposed to drop out of the box, then where does the real magician go? How does he get out?
Good question, Paimon. Good question.
Glad you asked. That brings us to the secret of said box. This box right here is the one that Caesar constructed himself to use in the performance, and it's not as simple as it looks. Inside, there's a device that only the magician himself would know about. Once the magician's inside and the box is lifted up into the air, the audience's view of the box is fixed at a certain angle. From where they're standing, they have a clear view of the front, sides, and bottom, but the back and the top are now no longer visible. At this point, the magician presses a button inside the box, opening a secret door out of view.
Okay.
He then escapes through this trap door onto the opera house roof, waits for the dummy to fall and distract the audience, and quietly returns to ground level.
Gotcha. Easy to understand.
That's way simpler than Paimon imagined. Even Paimon could probably do it.
Well,
but
there's a little more to it than that, of course. The hardest part of this trick is controlling the audience's mood and reactions. That takes an exceptional degree of showmanship. There's the falling dummy, the miraculous reappearance, the pompous performing. Maybe the magician would even have themselves tied up before it begins to strengthen the impression that there's no escape. Many days and nights of careful research and painstaking practice would have gone into this, all culminating in a performance just a few minutes long, but one that still manages to transform the shock and grief of a tragic accident to the joy and laughter of a mesmerizing magic trick. Caesar was a highly accomplished magician, but unfortunately, even he didn't manage to pull it off.
So, how did it go so wrong?
What if Lyney killed him?
You found some fishy stuff here. Have you figured out what really happened?
Well, like Lyney, I'm just theorizing, okay? I don't really think this is what happened. What if Lyney killed him to become the most prominent magician in Fontaine? What Lyney's got a motive, right? There's this guy, Caesar, famous magician. Lyney's trying to be a magician or whatever, and then he's like, "You're more famous than me. I'm gonna be the top magician in Fontaine." And then Lyney rigged it so like Caesar died. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that you can run with the story quest on who did it and
I can
all
make
that.
a pretty good guess. I looked into the case files. The magic box Caesar was using at the time of his death had the secret button I mentioned positioned on the right-hand side. And sure enough, he always used his right hand as his dominant hand in public.
Okay.
Okay. Nothing suspicious there.
No.
But here's the strange thing. Most of the devices in this workshop have the mechanism on the left-hand side, including this box right here. Which leads me to believe that Caesar was in fact left-handed.
So why would he pretend to be left-handed
Because
or
a
right-handed?
magician can't afford to have their most basic habits stand out too much. People naturally focus their attention on the most important details of the task or situation at hand.
And also, we need to remember that Lyney is a magician. It is a magician's job to lie. It is a magician's job to distract you, to pull the wool over your eyes. That is their job, right? So what if they're like implementing his whole thing into basically deceiving the player, us? You know what I mean? Does that make sense? So like, that's their job. They're supposed to deceive you, like, and their whole realm. Do you know what I mean? Like what if like every time you see Lyney and Lynette, they're doing nothing but deceive you, but you don't realize that they're deceiving you because they're that good at it? Because it's their job to do that. Like, that's what they do.
But a magician needs to be able to redirect an audience's attention at will so as to avoid arousing their suspicion.
So that's why you can't really trust Lyney.
The essence of magic is getting people to believe a lie. If even the truth raises eyebrows, the falsehoods become all the more difficult to mask.
See what I mean? See what I mean? He even says it himself.
And so, Caesar trained himself to use his right hand to align with his audience's expectations. Great magic always requires sacrifices. But in his most stressful and nerve-wracking moments, and when no one was watching, reflex would kick in and he'd use his left hand. That's why he set his gadgets with the mechanism on his left.
Maybe when someone exploited the fact again. I can't read today.
Exactly. I think that's likely what happened. Caesar would have been under a lot of time pressure during the escape. He'd have had mere seconds to open the hidden compartment, retrieve the dummy, then open the secret door and make a swift escape.
Okay.
But I'm sure he was confident. He would have rehearsed countless times to the point where it was second nature. He'd barely need to think about what he was doing because muscle memory would guide him through. So he opened the compartment, took out the dummy, checked everything was in order, and then went to leave. With his left hand, he reached for the button, and suddenly, his heart skipped a beat. It wasn't there. Much like when you reach for your keys but find your pocket empty, his mind needed a moment to process what was going on.
Yeah, I get that one. I get that.
Instinctively, his left hand would keep feeling around for the missing button, maybe for another second or two, until the bottom of the box gave way. With the stakes being as high as they were, just a 2-second delay cost him everything. The authorities would find nothing suspicious and conclude that his death was due to his own error.
When in reality, someone switched the boxes, and they did it to murder him.
But the thing about it is, who knows this information? Who knows this about Caesar the best? Right? Gemma, because she was with him, right? But Lyney, but I would assume that like Gemma maybe doesn't understand like the whole magical, like how everything works in the magic realm and things like that, and wouldn't get like he's right-handed, so I gotta use the left-hand one and all that stuff. But who does? Lyney does.
But how would they be able to make the switch without being noticed? That would be difficult to pull off, no?
It would have to have been someone who knew that he was left-handed and who could move his props around without arousing suspicion. Someone who was always by his side.
So you're gonna say it's Gemma?
Isn't that right, Lorenzo?
Oh, Lorenzo. Oh, I didn't forget about you, but I wasn't expecting you to be the guy. Well, I did. I threw that theory out there too, that Lorenzo was being sus and that he did it to get rid of him. And then you tried to tell us to not investigate and all that other stuff. So Lorenzo, was it you?
Just couldn't let sleeping dogs
It was
lie,
Lorenzo.
could you? There's not a lot of people who'd go to all this trouble for some magician who died 10 years ago. I didn't want to have to do this, you know. Silencing you the hard way just creates more problems for me to deal with. But I gave you your chance. I hoped you'd do what's good for you and back off like the lady, but you disappoint me.
You mean Gemma? So you are the one who's been threatening her!
Mm-hmm.
Yes, although however stubborn she might be, she was never much of a liability. But you people, you never even knew him, but for some reason you just wouldn't drop it. Which is why you can't leave this place alive. Take them out.
Bring it on.
Make it quick.
Let's go. No problem.
Do your worst!
I've already handled Pacino and De Niro before, so bring it on.
Here
Come on,
comes
Lyney,
the
to have the
finesse.
last hit. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, no problem. I do love Lenny's burst animation. It's really good. Did you just throw a card at him and knock him out with a card? I think he threw a playing card and knocked him down with a playing card.
Tougher than you look.
Had enough yet, Lorenzo? Your cronies can't help you now. I think it's high time you started talking. And what I'd really like to know is, why did you murder Caesar?
If I had a Mora for every time you said that man's name. Of course you idolized Caesar, everyone else did. But I was the real genius magician. Me!
Okay, so it wasn't like Lenny being jealous, it was Lorenzo that was the jealous one of Caesar and decided to murder him. Okay.
He was just an amateur who did cheap tricks for gullible children. I was the one who made magic into the fine art it is today. The aristocrats doffed their hats to me.
But why hassle Gemma if Gemma thought it was an accident? She'd been doing this, she had been like mourning for 10 years or whatever. So why would you like threaten Gemma if Gemma didn't know it was you to begin with? Does that make sense? Like why would you just leave her alone and just let her like mourn for the last 10 years? Unless she knew something. But she didn't say much of anything, really.
So it was jealousy.
Jealousy. Hatred, more like. I hated Caesar. All he cared about was his magic. He lived and breathed it. He poured everything into his street performances and his stupid tours like it was just a hobby to him, never bothering to think about Mora. What sort of fool devotes their life to the art of deception and never has a Mora to show for it? But the people loved him, didn't they? Oh, how they looked up to him. No one gave me a second look. All I ever heard was, "Oh, your master's amazing, isn't he?" Amazing. Yeah, so amazing that he was completely broke. Every other apprentice was living it up at their master's expense, but no, not me. I put in all the work, mastered all the skills, and it brought me nothing more than the life I already had.
His voice acting's really good. Whoever did Lorenzo did a really good job. So you killed him. Why didn't you just leave?
He forbade me from using magic to trick people out of their Mora. There was nothing he hated more than that. And with his reputation in Fontaine, it was too risky for me to go it alone. As long as he was alive, if I dabbled in my own brand of money-making magic, he would expose me and it would destroy me.
So you killed him?
I had to kill him. There was no other way. He had to go.
And this was your only motive?
It was reason enough. What other motive would I need?
Well, I was under the impression that there might have been other factors at play. For instance, Maybe you were in love with Gemma, but
See, I
she
thought
was
that too.
engaged to Caesar.
I thought that too, Lyney.
In love with Gemma? Don't be ridiculous.
Guess I was wrong about that then. Next question. Are you the Phantom Weasel?
I am.
Ooh, Lorenzo's the Phantom Weasel. Like the original Phantom Weasel from like 10 years ago?
Caesar was so strict with me. He insisted that his way was the right way, that the sole purpose of magic was to bring joy to the world. I never bought into any of that. I was more interested in the practical value of magic. Sure enough, it helped me fill my pockets with all kinds of valuable treasures.
But I heard that the Phantom Weasel stole from the rich and poor alike.
Oh, yeah! Charlotte told us that the weasel would steal whatever people valued, no matter how much it was worth.
That's right.
That's just how it looked from the outside. What would any thief want with second-rate loot? I've only ever targeted high-value items. I stole cheap things as a way of practicing my craft. It was other people's overactive imaginations that conjured up the preposterous image they then dubbed the Phantom Weasel.
So that's the story, huh? Well, I hope you're ready to tell it all over again during your trial.
Are we gonna put it in front of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal? Ba-bum, bum, bum, ba-bum. Nuvi gonna be there too?
What choice do I have? You're a pack of wolves, and you've got me between your jaws. You've seen what's here, and my last-ditch effort to stop it getting out has failed. What else can I do? So be it. I've enjoyed power and wealth for the last 10 years, the likes of which Caesar could never give me. I wouldn't choose for things to end this way, but I regret nothing.
Very well. In that case, I'll contact the guards. Traveler, Paimon, keep an eye on Lorenzo for me. I'll meet you just outside the workshop when I'm back.
Sounds good. Will do. You move, you die. Guards, arrest
Lyney
him.
has told me the whole story.
What do you think, Bruno?
Lorenzo, do you confess to the murder of Caesar and to framing him for the Phantom Weasel's crimes?
Okay, gotta say it in front of Nuvi.
Look who's finally developed a conscience. What kind of disciple murders their own master? I hope it was worth it, because there'll be hell to pay.
He's gonna be locked up, put into the fortress.
Looks like it's all over. What should we do next, Lyney? Should we start preparing for your show?
Let me think.
What do you think?
Let's rendezvous with Lynette and Gemma first. With Lorenzo in custody, Gemma will no longer have to fear for her safety.
Let's go.
Good point. We should go tell Gemma the good news right away. It'll give her some peace of mind for sure.
All right, let's go see Gemma.
You're back.
We are, Lynette. How are you doing? You doing
so
okay?
Quick. I've only just finished my third dessert.
Only 3?
Your third? Lynette, come on. We've talked about this. Everything in moderation. You're not gonna have any room left for dinner now.
What'd you have?
It's fine. I'll shift to exercise mode and jog off the excess sugar.
My question is, why does she like, she kind of acts like a robot a little bit. She's like power saving mode on, exercise mode on. You know what I mean? Kind of like a Catherine type deal. Is she what if she is? I don't know, she could be.
That's besides the point. Well, it's done.
Does she
now.
have a keyhole in her
But
neck?
Try to eat a more balanced diet in the future.
Point taken.
She's like, whatever, shut up. I'll eat what I want.
Did everything go okay?
Yes, we have news.
Of course. Lorenzo was no match for us. The guards are taking him into custody as we speak.
Gosh, that's amazing. I'm sorry. I still didn't know if I could trust you, but now it seems I can. I had my suspicions about Lorenzo, but I...
Oh, don't cry. Don't cry, Gemma. It's okay. You need a hug.
It's okay. We understand. He did threaten you. Paimon would find it hard to trust strangers in your position, too. But you don't need to be scared anymore. Everything's gonna be okay.
Sorry. Sorry. My emotions are all over the place right now.
You're fine.
I've been waiting for this day to come for so long.
Don't apologize.
I always wanted to report Lorenzo. He took all of Caesar's property, which I found suspicious, but I had people watching me all the time, so I couldn't risk looking into it. I was so afraid. I was scared he'd do something terrible to me, and then no one would be left to visit Caesar's grave. So I never had the courage to speak out. Thank you all. Truly. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. As Lyney's suggestion, everyone goes to the cemetery to announce Lorenzo's hold a memorial for Caesar.
Thank you all for clearing Caesar's name.
No problem.
I never would have guessed that Lorenzo was the real Phantom Weasel. He never showed any signs that there were problems between him and Caesar in public. From the outside, it looked like they got along great. And to think that lowlife's been living life to the fullest all this time, while Caesar's name was getting dragged through the mud. It's a travesty. At least his soul can finally rest in peace now, thanks to your efforts.
We did our best. Oh, poor Gemma. Gemma, it's been 10 years.
If only I'd realized before it was too late.
Oh, now you're gonna blame yourself? You could have been like, oh, I should have got rid of what's his face, Lorenzo.
Don't blame yourself, Gemma. This isn't your fault.
Yeah, you still have the rest of your life to live. Caesar wouldn't want to see you spending it feeling guilty.
Cheer up, Gemma.
Yes.
My brother's doing a magic show at the Opera House tomorrow evening. Would you like to come along? It might raise your spirits. This show will be a special one. We're holding it in Caesar's honor.
Ooh, are you gonna do the high risk magic escape thing?
In Caesar's honor? Really? Oh, thank you. I'll be there.
Do we get to be there too? I want to see it.
Great. We'll see you tomorrow evening. Traveler, Paimon, don't be late.
We'll be there, don't worry.
Don't worry, we'll be there. No way we're gonna miss out on a free magic show.
Excuse me, so sorry. Magic show time.
Paimon's excited to see another of Lyney's magic shows.
Well, last time we saw one, it went downhill real quick.
Yeah, shouldn't you be on stage by now?
Last time we saw a Lyney magic show, Farina was on trial. I mean, honestly, but before that, last time we saw a magic show, somebody died. Another person died. The thing fell on them. Shouldn't you be on stage by now?
Not this time. My brother's going solo today.
Okay,
So I'll be watching with you.
let's go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody's ready because the show is about to begin.
I'm ready. Are you ready?
The great magician Lyney has prepared a spectacular show for us all tonight, concluding with an all-new grand finale that no audience has ever seen before.
He's gonna do the trick, the escape trick.
Wow, a new trick!
Thank you all so much for coming. Now, prepare to join me on a journey through the mystical and miraculous.
Okay. Lyney wows the audience with his skill.
Exciting stuff, isn't it?
Yes, it's just... It reminds me of him.
No wonder. Caesar was a famous magician too. So, how did you two first meet, Gemma?
Well, I was out on the street once, and I saw him performing for little children. Children love magic, because they're willing to believe in things that can't be rationally explained. Caesar had this amazing way of bringing them into a dreamlike world. And somehow, I felt drawn to him too. So I went up and asked him to do a trick for me.
Aw, that sounds so romantic. What trick did he do?
It was...
Pulled out a flower.
With a flower. He took it in his hand, snapped his fingers, and it magically appeared on my head.
And that's what Lyney did to us at the beginning of the story
I was
quest.
so happy that day. No one had ever given me a flower before that.
Oh, that's so cute. Actually, now that you mention it, Lyney's done that one before.
Lyney has done that one before.
Is that right? Then I suppose he's a romantic at heart, just like Caesar. So let's treasure the time we have with him. After all, you never know when the people dearest to you might be gone.
Very true. Very true. Don't be sad.
That's right. It's all over now. Paimon doesn't really know how to comfort you, but at the very least, no one's gonna be intimidating you from now on. You can breathe easy at last, right?
Right.
That's right.
Yes, you can breathe easy now, Phantom Weasel.
Wait, what did Lynette just say? Is she the Phantom Weasel? But what's his face confessed to being the Phantom Weasel? So you're the Phantom Weasel? How does that work?
See? Even Lynette says... Wait, what?
What? Wait, what?
The Phantom Weasel? Lorenzo escaped? Where is he?
Paimon. Lorenzo escaped? Where is he? Hold on, wait, you are? How did...
What do you mean, Phantom Weasel?
As Lyney once said, a performer's job is to commit fully to their role and put on a flawless performance for their audience.
See, this is why we can't trust anybody in this game. Can't trust Lynette, can't trust Lyney, can't trust nobody, because Lynette is literally telling you that a performer's job is commit, right? Everything is deceiving you. Do you not, you can't see them. Do you know what I'm saying? Like...
But once the bag of tricks is empty and the curtain falls, it's time to end the show. The spotlight is no place for someone with no more cards up their sleeve.
I'm sorry, how is she the Phantom Weasel?
It's been 10 years, Gemma. Aren't you tired of the grieving widow act? I think it's time to put an end to it.
Lorenzo confessed to it though. Was it to protect her? Is he like in love with her and he did it to protect her? Because...
What are you talking about? Paimon doesn't like this riddle.
I don't like it either.
Traveler, Paimon doesn't like where this is going. Come on, say something.
What do you want me to say, Paimon? What do you want me to say? What do you want me to do? I don't know what you want me to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope
Does
you're all
Lyney
enjoying
know?
the
If Lyney
performance
knows,
so far.
Lyney has to know then, right? So,
There will now be a brief intermission, after which Lyney will perform the most electrifying act of tonight's show, the one we've all been waiting for.
So are we saying maybe Lorenzo still did kill or helped her kill? So she killed Caesar? Was she in love with him? Is she in love with him too? We don't know. Plot twist.
The final performance will take place outside of the Opera House, so please make your way outside in a calm and orderly fashion.
What is he gonna do?
The Phantom Weasel never did like public places, did they? Don't worry, this place will be quiet soon. Let's talk somewhere else for now.
How did they find that? How did they figure that out? You have to remember when you play this game, you cannot believe a word that anybody is telling you because you don't know. You honestly don't know. This game drops so many hints of telling the player, right, to not trust anyone. Baiju even said it like literally out loud in his story quest. They're doing it in this story quest. They are seriously telling you that what you are seeing is not what's actually going on. Everybody's so sad looking.
Dear me, this is awkward, isn't it? And unfortunately, I'm all out of gadgets, so I'm afraid I can't do any tricks to liven up the mood.
Did you not do your trick outside, Lyney?
This is a big mistake for a magician to make, but thankfully, I do have a backup plan. Now, who wants to hear a story?
I'll hear a story.
Lyney, don't we have more important things to address right now? Lynette accused Gemma of being the real Phantom Weasel a moment ago. Oh, what the heck's going on?
All in good time. Magicians are good at guessing what people are thinking. I know the questions you want to ask. And as it happens, the story I'm about to tell might answer a few of them.
I hope so.
Really?
I want to hear it too.
Let's go back to the very beginning. A decade ago, when the Phantom Weasel was terrorizing the court of Fontaine. She never missed a target, never left a trace, and no treasure was safe from her thieving hands.
Okay.
But as her infamy grew, so did the readiness of the police, and her opportunities to act became ever fewer. Every day, she ran the risk of being exposed for who she was.
Why would you run around as a thief wearing this? You're easy to spot. And why aren't you dressed up like a ninja?
Of course, she could not simply take this lying down, and before long, she found her ticket to freedom. She would create a scapegoat, a false weasel to close the chapter on her behalf. After weighing her options, she set her sights on a renowned magician, Caesar. After all,
so she never
magic and
loved him
theft shared
anyway?
enough similarities for people to buy the story when the truth came out.
So she never loved him in the first place. She was just putting on a show the whole time for 10 years? For 10 years, you're just putting on a show?
So then what?
Being the master deceiver she was, the weasel easily earned Caesar's trust. Now, all that remained was to frame him for her countless crimes. But as she was considering how to make her move, she noticed Caesar's aggrieved pupil, and a new thought entered her mind. Maybe I don't need to get my hands dirty after all. At her encouragement, Lorenzo tampered with Caesar's magic box, causing him to fall to his death. Afterwards, Lorenzo seized his master's property, and the weasel set about tarnishing Caesar's reputation. Two co-conspirators committed the perfect crime.
And she kept it up for 10 years, dude. That's a long time.
I've got to hand it to you. You're both exceptional storytellers. It's enough to make even me wonder whether there was really another mastermind behind all this.
Maybe there was.
Pulling the strings.
We don't know.
But I just have one question. You seem to think that I am the villain in this tale. What's brought this on, Lyney? Is it something that Lorenzo said?
Don't worry, Lorenzo said nothing at all. But I never believed that he was the weasel, and in fact, my investigation only made me more certain of that. He was too forthcoming with his confession.
He was.
As if there was something else he was trying to hide.
How disappointing. So you'd sooner trust Lorenzo than me, even without a shred of evidence?
Yeah, you got fingerprints?
A magician is an expert at playing the audience to get the result they want. And I have no doubt that you, Gemma, are equally talented in this regard.
They're doing it again. They're doing it again. They're doing it again. That line right there. A magician is an expert at playing the audience, which is us, to get the result that they want. They're playing us.
With a little help from Lorenzo, you put on a very convincing performance. The lovesick fiancé, whose devotion to her betrothed is unshakable, even under threats of violence.
Okay.
Caesar was maligned and hated by all for 10 years, but you? Everyone sympathized with your plight. Who would suspect for 1 second that the lovely young lady always seen weeping in front of Caesar's grave was actually the mastermind behind his demise? No, not that poor lady. Perish the thought.
Wait, so you mean the whole intimidation thing was just a hoax? Gemma and Lorenzo were both in on it?
I guess so. De Niro and Scarface or Smoothface. Is that what? Pacino. It was so good, that little Easter egg.
And why didn't he sell her out, even at the end, instead of admitting to being the weasel himself?
Because he loved her.
Yes, why indeed? Maybe Gemma herself could enlighten us on that question.
Yeah.
Well, Lyney, if you're so confident in your version of events, then I think the answer should be obvious.
And you're just gonna let him take the fall? You were just gonna be like, well, whatever.
Having killed Caesar with his own hands, Lorenzo was plagued by overwhelming guilt. Revealing the Phantom Weasel's true identity would serve no purpose. But if the weasel remained free, then she could take care of Lorenzo's loved ones.
An excellent answer, though sadly a little dull.
Is that right? Well, don't let me bore you. If you'd care to change the topic to something more interesting, I'd be much obliged.
Man, your personality just flipped a switch.
As a matter of fact, there's one thing I'd really like to understand. Why would the real Weasel have targeted things that only have value to other people? Could you shed any light on that?
Of course. After all, we're just telling stories here, aren't we?
True. Just telling stories.
If I had to guess, I would say that the real Weasel must have had a terrible childhood. Left to fend for herself after her parents died young. Betrayed, scorned, beaten.
That's sad. Is every kid in Teyvat an orphan? Like, I'm serious. Is every child in Teyvat an orphan? Look at Timmy. Dad went out for milk, never came back. I mean, every kid in Teyvat is orphaned. Parents died or left them and never came back, abandoned them.
She'd scrounge waste paper from garbage bins to draw on, using twigs and dirt for lack of ink and pen. She'd sew ugly rag dolls from whatever scrap material she could get her hands on. This was her only source of happiness in life. But it was all she needed, and she was content. Until the world decided that even this was too good for her. Once again, she was betrayed. And this time, everything was taken from her. She felt like life was a miry pit that dragged her further down the more she struggled to escape. At that tender age, she should have been happy. Instead, she stood in the shadows and watched with envy as all good things in the world passed her by.
Oh, that's just sad.
This was a fate too cruel for anyone to bear. Her pain became a breeding ground for dark thoughts. Thoughts which festered and grew into a twisted solution to her troubles. I detest the happiness of others, in all its forms alike.
Wow.
I will rob them of everything they hold to be good and true, and it will fill the void in my soul.
You just don't like people being happy. You just like to destroy people's happiness, and it makes you happy that you get to do that.
That's some pretty heavy stuff.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Now it all makes sense.
Does this story satisfy you, Lyney?
Sure.
Yes, it is.
And it's just a story.
Thank you for helping to clear up my confusion.
So what was with the warning letter?
Huh. That's right. What drove you to write that letter, Gemma? What were you trying to achieve there?
It was the point of that.
Because without that, none of this would have ever come to light.
True.
She didn't write the letter.
Who did? Was it Lorenzo?
After 10 long years, I'd hoped that the Phantom Weasel would be consigned to the history books by now. But it seems like someone still wasn't ready to let her finally be at peace. Lyney. Or should I call you the Phantom Copycat now? You were the one who posted that letter outside the Opera House. But why?
See? I told you. I told you. I told you.
Very sharp, Phantom Weasel. Still as shrewd as ever. Well, no need for me to be coy about it. Our goal was to clear Caesar's name.
And he lied. He lied right in front of Charlotte, right? He lied right in front of Charlotte. He lied through omission. Everything, like I'm saying, that you can't... You never know what they're up to.
The most straightforward way to change the public's impression of Caesar was to force the Weasel to show themselves.
That's it? You had no other agenda?
Of course we did. We made it quite clear in the letter, I believe. I shall take from you that which you hold most dear, just as you did to me 10 years ago.
Which was Caesar, because Caesar taught them magic.
10 years ago? You mean Caesar's death?
See, told you.
You met him?
Told you.
Wait. Oh, I get it. You were those two obnoxious kids. It's been so long, and you're all grown up now. I didn't recognize you. He taught you magic back then, didn't he? For what, 10 days or something? And you went to all this trouble. Why? Because you feel like you still owe him something?
We remember all our debts, however great or small. 10 years ago, Caesar's reputation was torn to shreds and his legacy was thrown out. 10 years on, and no one cares what the truth is anymore. But we did not forget, and so we came to find you.
And? What exactly did you take from me? I'm still standing, as you can see. Lorenzo has admitted to everything. I'm free.
True.
Free? Do you really think so? Caesar once told me that even though the world is filled with lies and falsehoods, we must find our own truth.
Right there.
I think that applies to you too. Truth can take many forms. Prized possessions with nostalgic value, fervent hopes and dreams, and irreplaceable people. Life took many things from you, and those wounds never healed. When they ached unbearably in the dead of night, stealing became your way of numbing the pain.
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying that for the last 10 years, you've been living a rather uneventful life. Perhaps that's because you found something other than a life of crime to fill the hole?
Which was what?
Back to Lorenzo for a second. He murdered his own master,
True.
played along with your act, and took pains to make sure any suspicion would be directed towards him. But what did he have to gain from all that?
Yeah, why? For what reason?
He knew who you were and the things you'd done, and despite that, he was willing to give everything.
He was in love
up
with her,
for
I
your
guess.
sake. He's the reason that you haven't felt the compulsion to steal in all these years. You're more than just accomplices in murder. You're the only real friends each other has. So I think you know, deep down, that he is the only truth you have in your life. But that truth is gone now. And I guarantee you, you'll never see it again.
Wow, Lyney. Jeez.
Congratulations on your freedom, Gemma.
Ooh.
Your freedom will cost you dearly. From now on, you'll be all alone in a world full of lies and falsehoods. I do hope you'll be able to bear it. You've still got a long life ahead of you after all.
Sorry, she'll just find somebody else, right?
Gather round, one and all. The time has now come for the amazing Lyney to perform his final act in tonight's show.
Let's see it.
I'm sure you're all wondering what he has planned for the grand finale. Well, wonder no more.
Told you.
The answer is a death-defying high-altitude escape.
I knew he was going to do that.
A high-altitude escape?
10 years ago, that trick, the trick that Caesar died attempting.
I'm sure you all remember the magician Caesar. This was the very trick that led to his fatal fall, after which he was dubbed the Phantom Weasel. But we have now learned that Caesar was wrongly accused, and that the real Weasel has now confessed to their crimes.
This one right here, right? Not Lorenzo.
Guess that's my cue to leave. Whew. I've been practicing this one for ages now, but I'm still a little nervous.
My question is, why didn't Lyney tell us that Caesar, when we went looking for his stuff, he didn't inform us, oh yeah, Caesar was my teacher.
Traveler, Paimon, I hope you enjoy the rest of the show. There may be a lot of people watching tonight, but you alone are my true witnesses.
Show us what you got there, Lyney.
Lyney, wait. You two hid a lot from Caesar. He went to his grave without ever knowing your secrets. So what about now? Are you an open book? Or are you still the same as ever? You don't have to tell lies to end up isolated and alone. One day, you'll end up exactly where I am today. Maybe then you'll finally understand.
You're wrong. I'm nothing like you.
Ooh, Lyney.
So, what are we, doing now?
I guess we're gonna go see this magic trick.
Like Lyney said, when you're ready, let's head outside and watch the show.
All right, let's go.
But what about Gemma?
She'll figure out what's best for her soon enough. Oh, and if you'd like to see Lyney after the show, you know where he'll be. The usual haunt.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's Lyney's finale, then. This trick's a pretty dangerous one, but he should be able to pull it off, right?
You'd think so. It's interesting how, like I said, sometimes I feel that in some of these dialogues, I feel that the game is talking to the player and not so much the characters that they're talking to. Does that make sense? I feel like the game kind of breaks the fourth wall a little bit at times and is talking to us, like the player, and not to the characters that they're having a dialogue with. All right, Lyney, let's see your magic trick. How far up are you? Wow, that's so, ooh. Oh, you're way up there. How was I expecting you to be that high up? But he already told us how the trick was done. So...
Magic should be mysterious, surprising, and defy logic. Magic is hard work. Every single movement has to be practiced thousands of times.
It's alright. We're used to that.
We're sorry. You've taught us so much, but we can't tell you the whole truth.
It's okay. Do you still remember what I told you? This world is full of lies and falsehoods. I only hope that one day you can find your own truth.
What about you? Have you found your truth?
Magic is my truth. I want to perform a magic trick so great that people will always think of me when they talk about it. For a magician, what greater honor could there be?
You look like what's-his-face? The drunk guy.
Behold! Lyney is sealed inside the box. Will he manage to escape? 10 years ago, Caesar attempted this very trick, and it was at this precise moment that...
Watch out!
Uh-oh. Dun dun dun. Is he dead now too?
Mysterious. Surprising. And logic-defying. Isn't that right? This honor belongs to you, Caesar. I'm just sorry it's a little late.
That was a really good cutscene. That was good. Very like artistic. I loved that. That was so good.
He was falling, and the next, he turned into flowers.
That was really good. That was a great cutscene. I love the artwork in that. That was awesome.
How could he possibly have done that?
I don't know. He had a vision.
How mysterious.
He has a vision.
I didn't blink once. He just vanished right in front of my eyes.
And there's Charlotte.
What a heart-stopping magic show. This was really worth the trip. Caesar's name has finally been cleared, and Fontaine's new star magician Lyney has fulfilled a wish on his behalf. Oh, I couldn't ask for a better grand finale. It will make a great headline for the Steambird tomorrow, even if I do say so myself.
And where'd he go?
Looks like everyone really loved Lyney's grand finale.
And where did he go? Even though they don't know the full story.
Paimon doesn't see Lyney anywhere. Where'd he go?
Yeah.
Oh, Lynette said he'd
Well, that's
be waiting
right.
for us at the usual hunt. But, where is that?
The cemetery?
Oh, you mean the one where Caesar's buried? Yeah, that's probably it. This whole magic show kinda seemed like Lyney's way of saying goodbye to Caesar. So it makes sense that that's where he'd be afterward. Alright, let's go look for him there.
All right, let's go off to the cemetery. What's up, Lyney? Oh man, the story quest has been... I've enjoyed it.
There you are.
I've enjoyed this story quest.
Are you alright? Paimon was scared to death when the chain broke. Paimon was sure something had gone horribly wrong.
The story was good. I mean, yes, it was focused more on NPCs than anything. The story but the way the story was told was really good. I enjoyed the storytelling part of this game, of this quest. I wish it would have been a little bit more about Lyney's past. I mean, we learned about like who taught him magic and things like that, which is really interesting. So I'm glad that they showed that and kind of incorporated that. So we learned a little bit about Lyney and Lynette's past.
Magic is a performance art. A magician has to get creative to keep the audience on tenterhooks. That's our job. So I tweaked Caesar's original setup a little to keep it fresh. I was honestly a little nervous during the live performance. The thought of falling, suddenly feeling weightless, seeing the sky and the ground spinning and spinning. Sometimes, I can't help but wonder what Caesar thought in those final moments. Did he regret taking Gemma and Lorenzo on? Or did he believe that it was his own slip-up right until the end?
You know, Paimon's been wanting to ask you about something ever since we were in Caesar's workshop. You learned magic from Caesar once, didn't you? When was that?
After I joined the House of the Hearth.
Okay.
To be honest, Lynette and I had an agenda when we approached him.
Right? Remember, because they're on a mission. Father had them on a mission, so they learned magic for a reason, right?
I told you about my past before, remember? As a young boy, I survived by secretly learning magic from street performers. I'd watch their tricks and try to figure out how they were done. But I quickly realized that observation alone could only get me so far. What I saw was the polished final performance, but the rigorous training they put in behind the scenes remained invisible to me. I needed to learn how to improve my sleight of hand, hone my misdirection skills, and make niftier props. We were gifted enough that we'd made some progress by ourselves, but without proper guidance from a professional magician, we quickly plateaued.
So that's why you sought Caesar out?
Yes. We figured there was no harm in asking, but it took us by surprise that he was so willing to teach us. In all, we only spent 10 short days together, but he was very good to us. By contrast, we hid so many things from him.
Yeah, you probably did, like where you're from, why you're asking, all that stuff.
For instance, when he asked why I wanted to learn magic, I answered, it's my passion.
Uh-huh.
But in truth, there was already a lot more to the story by then. After being taken in by an aristocrat for our magic talent, then betrayed soon after, this was no longer about me doing what I loved. What amazed me was how the lie escaped my lips even as I was hesitating over whether to tell him the truth. Trust is a beautiful thing. Sadly, I'd forgotten how to trust by then.
Lyney.
I don't blame you. That wasn't your fault.
Still worried about the way I
True.
feel? You really are a gentle soul, aren't you? But don't worry, I'm used to it now. From the mansions of the elite to the House of the Hearth, lies and selfishness have followed me and Lynette everywhere we go. After Caesar went on tour, we became busy with our missions. The next we heard of him was that he'd fallen to his death, and was now declared to be the Phantom Weasel. That night, I remembered his smile. But as I lay there, I didn't know what to say to him. To keep secrets is to put up walls. The longer you keep them up, the less you let people in. Then, one day, you look around and realize your life is like an empty auditorium after a show, full of seats once occupied by all the people who left. But I guess that's the price we have to pay. You only realize how much someone really meant to you when you lose them completely. That's why I was so confident this would hurt Gemma. Because I felt it for myself.
Don't be sad. We're in your auditorium and we're not going anywhere.
Yeah, cheer up, Lyney. We've had to say our fair share of goodbyes during our journey, too. But whatever happens, Paimon always believes in what tomorrow brings. Delicious food, fun toys, and the Traveler by my side. Paimon just needs to focus on things like this and all the unhappy stuff goes right out the window. You know, Traveler, doesn't that kind of make you Paimon's truth?
See, maybe is our sibling our truth? We don't know what the truth is.
Exactly. It's the same for me and Lynette. We are the truest thing each other has in the world, and nothing can replace that. Life has taken plenty from us like it did from Gemma. but at least it left us with each other. That's what gave us the strength to get through the darkest days. That's why the darkness never consumed me and why it never will. Maybe we live in the shadows too, but we remember every precious ray of light that shines through. All right, time to lighten this conversation up a little. What did you think of the show tonight?
It was awesome.
Were you happy with it?
Oh yeah, it was cool.
It was amazing! Paimon just wishes we hadn't been so distracted with the Gemma situation. We spent most of our time in the Opera House just talking and pretty much missed the entire first half of the show. Lyney, could you do just one more trick for us?
Whoa, that's a bit of a tall order, I'm afraid. The show's just finished, so my sleeves are decidedly card-free right now.
Aw, come on! Surely you can think of something. The Lyney Paimon knows can do anything if he puts his mind to it.
Oh, all right then. I'll give it a go, but only because it's you.
What are you gonna do? Make a rabbit come out of your hat?
Watch closely. I have a flower in my hand.
All right, I'm watching. I'm watching closely, okay? My eyes are peeled.
You liar! There's nothing in your hand. We ain't going along with this.
Huh? My goodness, you're right. But I could have sworn I brought one here with me.
Where is it?
Okay, try this.
Where is it?
Count down.
Everybody's eyes open?
3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1.
What?
Now, have another look around.
It's on
Maybe
Traveler
the
now.
flowers appeared somewhere else.
It's on Traveler.
Really? Let's see.
It's on Traveler's chest again.
Wow, there it is! Oh, this is a different flower from the last time, right? This one's called, oh yeah, a rainbow rose. But more importantly, Paimon has to know how the trick is done. Please, Lyney, pretty please!
Well, if you want to learn magic, you'll have to start by addressing me as teacher.
Yes, teacher.
Fine. Please, teacher, please!
Since you asked so nicely, I'll share one little tip with you. Namely, the student of magic cannot solely rely on others being prepared to reveal their secrets. You have to observe, think, and find the answers for yourself.
Is that it?
Look at the time. We shouldn't linger here too long. Thanks again for coming to see my show. I bid you both good night.
Have a good night, Lyney. It was so cool hanging out with you. This was interesting.
I look forward to seeing you again.
All right, fine. See, shall we have
Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to hit that. Yes.
Oh, Paimon can't wait to read The Steambird tomorrow. Paimon bets Lyney and Caesar will be plastered all over it.
I'm sure.
Let's head to the Steambird's offices tomorrow morning and see what we can find out.
Let's go. Gonna go see Charlotte?
I'm very sorry, Charlotte, but my sister and I are quite busy today. I'm afraid we'll have to decline this interview.
Oh, please, Lyney, I'll only take a moment of your time. If you would be so kind.
Huh? What's happening here?
I spent all night writing my piece about the Phantom Weasel, and it was going to go to print this morning.
And?
But just as dawn broke, I suddenly received news that Caesar's fiancée, Gemma, had contacted the guards and confessed to having been the real Phantom Weasel all along.
So Gemma's not gonna be alone after all. She'll be in jail.
That was
or
quick.
Fortress of Mirapede.
Too late, bro.
What?
That was quick, you say? It sounds like I've got some catching up to do. Please, fill me in.
Oh. Whoops.
Aha! My instincts did not lead me astray. You do have something to hide. Gemma turning herself in must have something to do with Lyney's performance last night.
Maybe watching my high-altitude escape trick reminded her of a better time with Caesar, and she could no longer ignore the voice of her conscience.
Maybe.
Huh. Okay.
Paimon
then.
can't ever keep a secret.
Wait, no, there must be more to it. If that's all it took for her to have a change of heart, how did it take her 10 whole years?
See what I mean? Now we're back in the Phantom Thieves, change of heart, Persona 5, right? That's what the Phantom Thieves do. They make a change of heart in Persona 5. They were talking about Phantom Thieves earlier and the Phantom Weasel, and it's like, you know, another like code name for one of the Phantom Thieves. I don't think that was intentional or anything. I'm just making that up in my head, but I mean,
Well...
If you play Persona 5 Royal, you know what I'm talking about. Or Persona 5, whichever one. They're the same, but they're not. You know, Persona 5. Charlotte's journalistic spirit is burning red. We're going to have to distract her somehow.
Oh, I remember now. You and Gemma were nowhere to be found after the show. What happened between you? Quickfire question. Where did you all go after the show?
Gosh, Charlotte.
Oh, we went to the cemetery and Lyney did a private magic trick just for us. Actually, glad you mentioned it, because that reminds Paimon. Guess what? Lyney started using rainbow roses in his tricks.
What? I don't recall ever having received a rainbow rose from you myself. Is this supposed to mean that they're more important to you than your own sister?
Ooh, Lynette.
No, I just...
Calling Lyney out.
What now? Oh, did Paimon say something wrong again?
Paimon, you always say something wrong.
This is getting pretty awkward. What do we do, Traveler?
I don't know.
Seems like this interview wasn't meant to be. Well, never mind. There's always next time. Forgive my persistence, but when there's explosive news waiting to be found, I can't turn away. The news about Gemma has already made waves, and I'll stop at nothing to get to the bottom of it all. Apparently, one of the things she said to the guards was that her final wish is to see Lorenzo one last time. There's clearly a web of complicated relationships there. Can't blame me for being curious. All right, I guess
I wonder if she got to.
The rest of your conversation.
Did she get to see Lorenzo?
Bye for now.
Bye, Charlotte. It's always good to see you. I adore you. I adore Charlotte. She's so freaking cute, man. And she's so like peppy and lively.
Lynette? Paimon didn't mean to.
Don't worry, I wasn't angry. I was just trying to distract her.
Oh, really? Oh, thank goodness. You scared Paimon there.
Phew. You and me both, Paimon. You and me both. At least it did the job, right?
True.
Please, take good care of that rainbow rose.
We will, don't worry.
I'd be really upset if you lost it.
We won't lose it, don't worry. Dude, the Forgotten Thief, that was a really good story quest. I did enjoy that. I'm glad we learned about like when they were kids and who taught them magic and all of that stuff. But there's more to it. They didn't become magicians because they had a passion for it. There's an agenda to it, and they're still here. They're still around. That's my most curious part that I'm wondering the most part about, you know, like what is the entire agenda? They're still here even after Act 5. So they're still in Fontaine here for something. We don't know what that is yet. And a lot of this quest, I felt it was talking to the player than it was talking to the characters in the game. You know what I mean? Like there's been so many story quests and so many Archon quests where it's like, don't believe everything that you see. You know, everything is a lie. Everything is a hoax, that sort of thing. You need to be questioning everything. Don't trust anybody. Don't trust this. Don't trust that. The game is literally telling you that. And I'm going to be interested to see how they go about the whole thing, like the whole game in telling that whole story. That was a good story quest. I loved it. It was awesome. Really, really, really good.